just jump right in. Fennec Shand is perhaps one of the most used characters in the Disney era of Star Wars,
Huh.
appearing in three series, or will be appearing in three series. So, what does that mean to you to play a character that's now spanning like this entire franchise?
I say keep it coming. I would love to just have Fennec be peppered all over various projects. It's an honor. It's a gift. I'm still uh, really kind of drinking in this whole idea that I am in all these Star Wars projects. It's sort of there's sort of like a weird out of body experience that happens when something that you've dreamed about for so long finally comes true and it becomes a reality. There's a part of you as an adult and as a professional where you go to work and you do the job, and then there's that little kid in you that's just going, wow, this is the best dream I've ever had. I don't want to wake up from it.
Yeah, and in the Mandalorian season one, it seemed like Fennec was a one-off character because it seemed like she had died, but now came back in season two, and then there's Bad Batch. So how far ahead of time did you know about the bigger plans for the character?
Um, Fennec Shand was supposed to be just a one-off character. That's what I signed up for. There was no other ideas of her surviving that nasty blaster to the gut treatment that she got. And I think, maybe just a combination of it was written in the stars, the force was with me, all of it. Dave Filoni was directing Gunslinger at the time, and we got to know each other. I didn't know, Dave before then. And we just connected on so many levels. And, because we're both of us are such big Star Wars fans. And then we discovered that we both grew up in the same neighborhood. And then we went to the same high school together. I mean, not together, but, we were in different classes, but it was the same high school. So I think it was just a combination of all of it. And maybe me being really persistent that she didn't die. And of course, the fans
For
have
that?
to. Yeah, the fans' reaction when that episode aired was just probably her biggest saving grace. So thank you to all the fans.
No, in the Bad Batch so far, we've only seen her very, very briefly. So is there an opportunity to see more of her story, more like an origin story, like how she became a bounty hunter as well?
Yeah, I hope so. That's something you have to ask Mr. Filoni himself.
So with the Bad Batch, it's there's a big gap between the Bad Batch and the beginning of like the Rise of the Empire and then Mandalorian, which is 20, 30 years later. Do you
Mhm.
know much about what has happened to Fennec in that time period?
No, no. I mean, considering that she remains a bounty hunter all those years, I think that is probably, a profession that she revered and understood, and whether she was trapped in it or whether she loves it that much. Those would be very good questions. I would love to explore all that.
Now, you mentioned you're a Star Wars fan, but what do you want to see happen with your character in this franchise?
Well, okay. I mean, selfishly, that she becomes a Jedi. I mean, didn't we all want to become Jedis when we were younger?
That's
Um,
true.
how crazy would that be, right? But yeah, and then I already pictured like she would have an orange lightsaber because that's her color. I don't know. For me, I leave it in the hands of John Favreau and Dave Filoni. They're such incredible creators of this world. Hands off to them. Hands off? Excuse me? Hats off. Hats off to them for just really bringing Star Wars back to this level of love that I know I had when I was growing up. And now I get to share that with my son. and my daughter. It's just, it's such a gift.
Since this is animation and your original role is in live action, are you playing the character any differently, even though it's through voice?
A little bit, yeah. I think it's the energy level, because I remember when I was young in my 20s, I wanted to conquer the world. I wanted to make my mark. And I think that's the kind of attention that Fennec has. She is out there to prove herself, and she's really probably more raw and ruthless, and a little bit sloppy, a little bit, like when you see her in that scene, she's very impulsive too. So I'm thinking that the later Fennec is more seasoned, chooses her projects, she's more selective, and definitely you know, um, won't take certain jobs.
So since this, like I said earlier, there's a big gap in her story. If you had the opportunity to come back to play this character either in animation or live action, would you still do it, like in the future?
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's a silly question.
Sometimes people choose to say that they think they're done with the role because they've played in a few different aspects.
Look, if Mark Hamill isn't done with the role of Luke Skywalker,
That's
I
a
think
fair.
I've got a few years ahead of me. I just love the fact that he is so happy and excited about that moment when Luke Skywalker showed up to take Grogu. That was such an iconic moment, and I cannot believe that I got to be part of that truly magical, emotional, iconic moment.
Were you aware of that moment beforehand? Before, because a lot of people weren't.
I mean, yes, because it was really quite obvious. I mean, Peyton Reed, he did an amazing job directing that sequence. But when I saw the cloak and the glove and the saber, I'm just like, I went to John and Dave. I'm like, okay, I know who that is.
That's fair. I have just a little time left. So obviously you're continuing the character after the Bad Batch with in live action in the Book of Boba Fett. Is there anything you can tell me that fans can expect from your role? I know it's probably little you can actually share.
Yeah, very little. Well, she likes her outfit a lot because she wears it quite often. She's kind of like the Einstein of bounty hunter. She has only one outfit every day that she wears. I can tell you that much. So,
Is there anything that you've done different? Because I know when I was speaking to the producer, they mentioned that your hair was a little different in the animation. Was there anything else that was different about your character in the
yeah,
Bad
I mean,
Batch?
I don't think they could do the detail work that goes into this very elaborate hairdo. And one of the reasons why it was so elaborate was because we only thought that she was in one episode. So I wanted to make it extremely memorable. Um, and then when she came back, it was great. But wow, we were stuck with a very elaborate hairdo that takes a really long time to do.